Cyan's headquarters, which, I should give an advertisement this year's.
Next
year's Mysterium is going to be at Cyan headquarters in Spokane, Washington.
Everybody come.
Yeah, everybody should come because it's awesome. And their headquarters is beautiful. It looks ripped out of the MYST game. Like literally, the front of the building is ripped out of the rest of the building. But so in 2001, Mysterium was its second year, and it was held in Carlsbad Caverns because we were exploring the caves. We'd had little hints about Uru, but it was still very much behind the scenes. Like nothing had been released yet. Maybe we'd had 1 or 2 screenshots. And this was back when it was done in real time, which was dirt. So we all went to Carlsbad Caverns, and Rawa, who is a prominent programmer and sort of Dunny historian who writes all of the linguistic rules for the language in the game, all of that. Who works at Cyan, was there as a guest, and that was what got me excited. So that was my first cosplay. Actually, I dressed up as Savidra from MYST 3. I was 14. But what we didn't know was that Cyan had sent along an extra guest without telling anyone, one of Rand's old college friends? I don't know.
Acquaintance of my brother from way back.
Yeah, see, I don't even know how you guys picked this guy.
Yeah, I know.
Named
Jeff Zandy.
Jeff Zandy, yeah. And he was at the convention just being a regular con-goer, but what his job was to get us to notice a giant billboard in the middle of the desert with a clue that would lead to an alternate reality game that would give us information about Uru.
By
he
the way,
didn't do his job very well because
by
none
the
of
way,
us noticed
we're going to be
the
pointing
billboard.
fingers here, okay? This is a Mysterium conference that we're thinking, okay, these people are going to be primed for looking for clues all around. Right?
There was like a spiral
entire
with
billboard
fingers
on the way. They
on the
should
way to
know
Carlsbad
this.
Cavern in a city that none of us have been in before.
Oh, by the way, we put it in the newspaper that was delivered to your hotel room doors too.
Who makes newspapers? Yeah.
I missed
You
all
weren't
this.
at that one?
I wasn't at this
Oh,
one.
man.
I know.
Yeah, we needed more people.
You also
But
sent
anyway.
Jeff Chastain, who was the producer at Ubisoft. You had legit guests for us to pay attention to, and then this Zandy guy is sitting in the back, not talking to anybody.
Just kind of weird.
Just, yeah.
With a big symbol
With a
on
big
t-shirt.
symbol on his t-shirt, but we're talking.
That matched the billboard
but-
and the newspaper.
But how are we supposed? It's a billboard on the side of a road in the middle of nowhere.
Literally in the middle
Literally
of
the
nowhere.
middle of nowhere. So none of us caught this, and of course, this is in Carlsbad, New Mexico. So only maybe 30 people flew out. This is also the second year of Mysterium, so it's real small. So none of us caught this, and and I'm wondering what happened at Cyan. How did you guys react to this?
Oh, this is
anyone
how
get-
we lived at Cyan, because we were getting ready to do this in the cabin. For those of you who don't know, we were building MYST Online. And our idea of an online game was not to level up. It was, hey, what if the world you could go to would never end? And it was really happening. It felt like it was a live thing happening for you. You could go underground where this stuff was happening, and books would appear, and all of a sudden you could go to this new place. But it wasn't like you restart the game and start it over. It was like, it felt like it was actually happening. And so we were starting the game not in the game. We were starting it out of the game with billboards and
But alternate reality
clues
games didn't
and-
even exist back
Yeah,
then.
this was
This
like
is
the
before I
newest.
Love Bees and Halo. This is, as far as I can tell, this was the first alternate reality game. And it was built because you guys
really
had kind
close
of
to the
done weird
first.
stuff like that with the spider clues that would
Yeah.
give you the Easter eggs in Riven. I don't know if anybody knew
This was
about
the big one.
This was-
But
yeah.
it was huge, and we had to solve puzzles and go to phone booths and wait for the phone to ring and then give the answers to the clues and go out into weird places in all over the country and dig up bronze little swirls, the same pattern as on Zandy's
Buried,
buried
or
with
in rocks,
GPS
in the
before
middle of
everybody
nowhere.
had GPS trackers. This
Yeah.
was
This was fun stuff. This is not that's cool.
This
This
is
is how
fun,
it
but
should
it's
be.
crazy.
There should be puzzles everywhere.
This is why those fans are obsessive, because they keep throwing
Yeah,
stuff
so-
like this at us.
So, you wonder why I got hooked on MYST, because you guys were doing this crazy stuff.
This was your formative years. And
Yeah,
we were
exactly.
Like,
It like latched
really
in.
good
I
idea.
had, all I had to do every day was homework. I didn't have to work or anything. It was like.
Well, that, honestly, that is, I get excited just thinking about it, and I'm from the other side of that coin. And I think that is the Geek thing. I mean, you don't know what was going on in the office when
I
we were
would love
putting this
to
stuff
know.
together. It was so much fun. When they didn't get the billboard, we were like, okay, problem solving. We gotta figure out what happened to that billboard when that guy took it down. And what did he do with it? He didn't burn it. So we call him, and he goes, nah, I put it in a barn. Took it down and put it in my barn. We're like, well, where's your barn? And he gave us like the GPS locations of that. So we ended up giving clues somehow to his barn that somebody ended up going to and rummaging through the billboard, because on the billboard there was actually other GPS coordinates on the bottom of it that they were supposed to have gotten. So they got them, they did get them off the billboard. It just took an extra little, push here and there. It ended up, and this is the coolest thing, we had so much fun. Oh gosh, I wish this was my
Where was the
job. I
documentary
just do
proof of
this, but
that?
I don't know how you make money when you do this, so it's hard to do for a job. It all ended up as you said, we had these phone booths and stuff, but we decided, okay, the final thing that happens, we have to do this in a public spot where more than just one person can see it. So we picked a spot in Fort Worth, Texas, I think it was, some kind of public building, City Hall, that had back in the day, that was rare, but had a webcam, like a pretty high frame rate webcam. And that was the final location that somebody had to go, and Zandy was there. And this person actually had to go to this location, not knowing why they were there, with a phrase in Dunny that they had to speak. And they go there, and I'm sure I'm storytelling a bit, so
No, it's
probably
good.
not
I have
exactly
very
right.
fractured memories of
But-
these events.
But people can watch, because it's on a webcam, they can watch this happen. The guy comes up to Zandy, and I don't remember who it was who did it, but they were so nervous that they couldn't talk at first. Because it was obviously him, and he was sitting there. Jeff was laughing about it later. He was like, they couldn't talk to me, they were so nervous. And they have to spit this phrase out in Dunny that who knows how to pronounce it right. And I think they said something first, and Jeff just ignored them. Like, no, you gotta give me the phrase. They gave him the phrase, and Jeff gives them something. I don't even know how but that was like, oh, look what we can do. We can do this in the road. And our idea for the game was, wouldn't it be cool in the MYST Online game if the two worlds, the real world and the underground, this cool, massive, although it wasn't massive, you could play it with just a couple friends if you wanted to, game, really did merge, and we could do fun things with people in all of that. So, yeah.
That was my favorite thing about MYST Online, about Uru, was, well, one, the fact that the NPCs were real people. There weren't avatars sitting there with little question marks over their head. There were people running around who would interact with you, who would talk with you, who you could actually influence what was happening.
Yeah.